Okay.
Sound check.
Sound check for me?
Yeah, for both of you.
Okay. State your name and address one more time for me, Mr. Ash.
Edward L. Ash, 923 West Little, Pasco, Washington.
Okay.
Okay. You are.
Edward L. Ash.
This way.
Huh?
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
right
you're.
We're just checking the sound. Go
you
ahead.
want me to look at you, huh? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a story that goes with whatever I'm asking about, to tell that or kind of elaborate on the answer rather than just if I say, you know, what year were you born, or well, that's not a good one. If I were to say something where you could just say yes or no, it helps us to hear a little bit more, okay? And I'm going to try to talk not too much so that we can allow you to do that, and he won't pick me up on here
Oh, that's okay.
so much. So if I hesitate and I go like this, I probably mean keep telling me about that, okay? No, that's all right. That's all right. So if I get him started, he'll keep going. Oh, that's good. That's what we're after. So you ready to go? This is another interview that's being conducted for a project for the AACCES History and Recognition Committee's Hanford project. And my name is Vanessa Moore, and today we're speaking with Mr. Edward Ash, who worked here in the Hanford area back in the 1940s and later. So Mr. Ash, I appreciate you taking time to talk with us today, and just want to ask you a few questions. First of all, I would like to know, when exactly did you arrive in the Tri-Cities, and tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, when I was over in Tri-City, let's see, we was over to Tacoma. Let's see what, 46. What is 46? Will be coming to Tacoma?
I think it's 47.
Huh?
47?
47.
Yeah, 47. 47 we came to Tacoma.
You came from Tacoma?
Came from Tacoma, over Pasco.
You said we know. Who came with you?
Well, East White, he came over there with me. Him and I was over. We were living over Tacoma, and I came over here because I was working over Tacoma, and I had forgot about that job. So he had been over here once before. He had doing due part-time. But I wasn't over him doing the due part-time. So he said, let's go back over there. So we went over there, and he said, and when we got over here, well, we understand that J.A. Jones was moving in to start back to Hanford area. So we went down to the Union Hall that day, and we set up to the Union Hall all day long, and they were calling people to go to work on the Hanford area. So Friday, he said, I'm going down to the pool hall and shoot some pool. He said, because we may not get out now. He said, because we got to wait. And I stayed at the Union Hall, and they kept calling out, and the business agent was saying, we calling us but union members now. He said, and everybody was going with union members. I said to myself, when is all of them folks be union members? So I sat on there till up in 12 o'clock, and got sort of scattered. So I walked up there, and I said, I'm from Tacoma. I said, I was used to be in the union myself. I said, but they are, but since I worked in civil service, then went back to the union, told them I had to, if I come in and pay all my needs and feed up, that I could go back in. So I said I'd come over to Pasco and rejoin the union and get back in the union. And if I want to go back to Tacoma, I'll go back to Tacoma.
What union was that? Which union?
Labor International, Labor.
Laborers?
So I said, one thing I'd like to ask you. He said, what? I said, if I pay all my initiation fees and everything, could I get it? He said, can you pay all the initiation fees at one time a day? I said, yeah. He said, okay. So he was opening the receipt for the job. And so Then I didn't have no way of going to the job because Boy Reese had the car. So I went over to the pool and I told Boy Reese, I said, boy, I done got hired out. He said, yeah. So I said, come on and go with me. So
Tell me your friend's name again. Your friend's name?
Boy Reese White. So him and I went on back over to the hall. And I asked him what about, I said, this guy got the car. And could we get him out too? He said, yeah. So we got him out. So then we went on out to Richland the next day, and J.A. Jones just moved in, and they didn't have no tools in there to even go to work. So we got there and we sat around there. So they told us, well, we just gonna sit around until the tools come in, but nobody have to leave the personnel office. You have to come in here at 8 o'clock, and you stay here and sit out there and go to sleep or whatever you want to do until 4:30 in the evening.
It's easy work.
He said, now y'all will get paid for setting up here. He said, until we get the tools and started working. So we went there every day for 2 weeks, and we draw the paycheck before we even hit the liquor work.
What kind of work would you eventually be doing?
Well, I worked in the labors all the time, labor district.
But J.A. Jones?
J.A. Jones, I went there. We see J.A. Jones had the Hanford area too. They taken the whole Hanford area. And
This for construction work?
Yeah, construction work. See, construction, and after the construction work, well then they taken over the reactor and everything, all that too.
What buildings did you work on?
Well, I can just about call every building you have. I worked on first down 300 area, I worked on it now. Then I worked at 34-5. I worked at 100H, B, C, D, DR, K East, K West, 100N, and I worked at K East, and I worked at all the other Hanford building. But I just worked all over the whole place, from every building, from 300 Plum, and all the 105s and everything was on the river, on the river site. So.
Could you describe for me the type of work that
Well,
you
the
did?
type of work what I did, I first went there. I started working in the construction part. I hope to build about all the 105 areas. Then when they got them built, then we started putting the machines and everything in.
But so was it concrete work or?
It was concrete work, and I worked some of everything. You know, when you're a labor, you do some of everything. I worked with cement finishers. I worked with electricians. I worked with the pipe fitters. And I just worked with every craft that was there. And then when they got the building all finished, and then they went in, I got my queue cleared. I think me, myself, and another white guy was about the first one got a queue cleared. And the reason I got my queue cleared as quick as I did because I worked for the U.S. Naval Supply Base in Tacoma during the war. And so I got my queue cleared about the same week when I put in for it. And so
it didn't take a long investigation for your clearance?
No, it didn't take no investigation at all. It didn't, because when I put in for it, well, I just left Tacoma for U.S. Naval Supply Base. And I worked there all during the war.
What kind of work did you do at the
Well,
Naval?
I worked there, shipping and receiving and all, and then I was working in the warehouse and we were shipping stuff overseas where the people were fighting at in the army. Then they come to a place that we had to, everything that was going overseas had to be waterproof. Like Jeeps, all that different stuff going had to be waterproof. So if the ship was sank, all that stuff will float, and they can pick it up later. So after they classified me in the Army for number one, I suppose went in the service. Then one of the head lieutenant come out there one day and asked me, said, "How would you like to be the FUD?" I didn't know what the FUD was. I didn't know. I said, "What that's going to be?" He said, "Well," he said, your supervisor said you done did a good job of waterproofing all of this stuff that's going overseas. He said they done give you a crew of people, got a bunch of women and men both, and you're the overseer of it. He said, so they want to keep you here because you is qualified with this. And he said, we want, so I said, okay. So then they fixed up the papers, and so I didn't have to go to the Army. So when he said, now he said, a few years, you probably have to go when this run out. But when it didn't run out until VJ Day, till the whistle blow. The whistle blow like the day of my paper run out tomorrow. So.
And that was when it was time to come to Pasco?
Yeah, after when I worked for another little building there in Tacoma. And then I came over to Pasco, because I didn't like that job. But we came over to Pasco and I started working. And so I worked out there for J.E. Jones Construction. We worked, when we first started, we wasn't in the radiation and all of that. We built, we hoped to build that, finished at high school in Richland. We built the first jailhouse, was in Richland. And the school on George Washington Way, we built that. And J.E. Jones built all the houses going up George Washington Way, plumb down to the river. We worked in there. That school up there and going to North Richland and all those houses there, J.E. Jones built, he built in that. So then they started moving up. They got all the barracks built, and all the trailer camp built and everything. Then we started moving out in the Hanford area.
I see. Now, where did you live when you first arrived? Where did you settle down? Where did you live?
Well, I live in Pasco.
Okay. Were there many African Americans or black people in Pasco at that time?
Yeah, it was quite a few. It was. I lived in Pasco ever since I came from Tacoma. I've been here in Pasco ever since.
So you must like it here. You like it here. You settled down and stayed.
Yeah. So.
And you raised your family. You have your wife is here with you, and
yeah. Well, I was on here 1 week, and then I went back and got the wife and the 2 children, and the other 2 were born over here in Tacoma. So we went and got them, and we came back because I couldn't stay over here by myself. So
no.
So we went back and got my family. So
you never lived in the barracks?
No, I didn't live in barracks.
Okay.
The water got so high at one time that you couldn't get across from Pasco to Richland. You couldn't. We had to go way around down there and come across a ferry and come all the way around from back to on the other side of the river and come in there, and they had to stay over there overnight until the water went down. But it worked it out okay. But I just never did like to stay in Richland. One thing about it, I didn't. And I got in Pasco, and I went with peoples in Pasco, and so I just stayed there.
Yeah. Do you recollect the names of some people who were here when you came?
Oh boy, let's see. I can remember Newborn. Newborn was there, and it was him. Boy, I tell you, it would really take me a good while to remember lots of those people.
Okay, we can come back to that then. Tell me, Mr. Ash, how did you feel about working at Hanford? And I mean by that, the kind of working conditions, treatment of people, interacting with other workers.
Well, After I went out there and started working, before we went in the area, I worked with lots of different people, and I got along because I tried to do my job well, and then I worked steady, I did, and I got with some good farmers and things I did. And after they started queue clearing people to going in the Hanford area, then I went out in the Hanford area, and we were going from building to building, started working in the building and the radiations and all like that. Mm-hmm. Now, when I got going in the Hanford area, my superintendent was Ralph Erickson, and that's the first superintendent that I went under. And I stayed under him 27 years, under Ralph Erickson.
So
he really was a good superintendent. He was over all the whole 100 area. From the starting of the river, plumb back every 100 area, he was a superintendent over that area, he was. And so after I had went all the 2 East and all those different places and got in there with him, and I stayed in the 100 area from that time I went in there until I retired. Mm. But he didn't stay there himself that long. I was under him 27 years, and then they sent him to another job back down south someplace. Mm-hmm. And then.
And you remained there. What year did you retire?
Huh?
What year did you retire?
I retired. I got that right in Mount Pasco.
Keep that with you.
Well, let me get out, can I?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and then then they had another superintendent there. And he was a good guy. It's one thing about it. I got along with like all the peoples. I retired the 7th and 31st, 1981. And I served out there for 35 years.
35 years.
Mm-hmm. I raised up my whole entire family. I put all my children through school, everything on that one job. And but I can say one thing, my daily prayer was when I started working out there, I worked with lots of good peoples. I worked with lots of pretty honorable peoples. You're gonna find that everywhere you go, see? But I seen people quit, seen people leave, but one thing I had in mind, I wanted to take care of my wife and children. I wanted to raise them up, and my prayer was each day of my life, it was the good Lord to bless me to stay on that job, get along with my foreman, my supervisor, raise my children up while they get an education and put them to school off of that one job. Mm-hmm. So
and your prayer was answered.
So the good Lord blessed me to raise all my children up to get going and to finish school. And me and my wife have been together for 62 years. Oh. We've been married that long.
Congratulations.
And I can say one thing, 61 years. But I can say one thing we can say, a lot of people can't say, we never passed a lick through fighting, the mad, and the cuss one another out in our life. And we really have, and we raised up our children to get going.
And that's saying a lot.
And we taking care of them off of that one Hanford job, see? And so I give the good Lord the credit for that.
Mr. Ash, you tell me you have raised your children here, and I was just curious if you could tell me the children's names and where are they living now?
Well, Angie, she's in Pasco, and Betty's in Pasco, Mary's in Pasco. They're all three of them here. And Ed, he's in Texas, and what is name Texas town?
Do you have
He's in Texas.
So you have 4 children, and 3 of the 4 are still
I
here.
have 4. But, 3 girls, 1 boy. So after then we started going in through the radiation and all like that. We really went through lots of radiation. I learned how to go through there. It was a job. Like I said, I met good people. I met some bad ones, but I tried to go along with everybody. And so,
Let me ask you a question about that, because some of the people we've interviewed have talked about a time when at least the barracks, say, were segregated. Could you tell us about this segregation that you observed, or was that on the job, off the job?
well, one bad part, before we went into the Hanford, we were downtown Richland, when we were building all them houses and barracks and all like that. They had one superintendent over those jobs and things down there. They did. And when they got started, they had this guy tried to segregate the peoples in the restrooms. He wanted the black over here and the white over there. This superintendent did. And so I just remember now who was it who reported that guy. But somebody reported him. And one of the head peoples came down there and told him, said, we're not gonna have that. You're gonna build one restroom, one for the men, one for the women. And they all gonna go in there. And they fired that superintendent off. They taking the job away from him. And J.A. Jones put in another. See, J.A. Jones was building them houses. So
this was not a J.A. Jones policy?
Huh?
J.A. Jones didn't have a segregation policy?
No, but I didn't have one. Of course, you had peoples working there, you know what I mean? This and that, you know what you think. Well, it's just like one time when I was out in the area there, they had a big animal farm, and they were testing radiation through lots of these animals. And we were testing peoples, you know, through there. And so I was in there. So one guy, my superintendent, and then they had another superintendent. Then they brought in the little superintendent from somewhere down in Arkansas. And you know how a bunch of men get up, you know, they had cows, they had a few hogs out there, they had some hogs. They were testing all kind of animals, see how much radiation could the animal take. And we had several black guys out there had a good job feeding these animal radiations because to see how much can they take. See. Then they had a bunch of sows and they had a bunch of all that have pigs and things. So a bunch of men got together for what the only thing that really come up to one standard one time. I had a couple of problems, one with this guy, this little assistant super guy in there. So we all men were working in there with the animal and all, and so you know a bunch of men that get and say, oh, I'm gonna take this here for my little girlfriend, I'm gonna take this here, you know. So we had the people out the pigs and all that, you know. So they had some sheep and they had this and that. So this little superintendent that brought him from down Texas sometime. I'm the only black guy in the whole bunch. See, I worked in there one time with 60 white people, and I was the only black guy in the bunch. Of course, I finally got along with him because I'm like this. I can work with a guy all day, and he don't want to speak to me. I can speak to him. That's just the way I am. But this superintendent, he come in there, so they had it's sad to say it, but they had this hog, a whole bunch of white Chester hogs. So everybody had picked hogs, some had picked a little dogs, some had pigs, you know, a bunch of men. So he jumps up and said, Ash, I'll pick one for you. He said, those sheeps over there got a black head, so you pick out you one of them with the black head. I said, okay, that's fine, that's okay. I said, that'll give me a girlfriend too. He said, I'm gonna take these south. He said, they're my girlfriend. These white girlfriend, that's mine. I said, okay. So it rocked on there for months, 7, 8 months. So they were trying to breed those sows and things to get a whole bunch of pigs so they could have more animals. So they could have more animals to, you know, they could fix the radiation. So they had their white male in there, and he stayed there. Now saw come up with pig. Now saw got pregnant. So they killed him. They killed him. I went down there one day. There was a black male pig in there. Didn't have a white spot nowhere. I don't think his tongue was even red. I mean, he was a black one from head to foot. About 3 months, all the white sows were coming up with pigs. So this superintendent, that time they had a whole bunch of super on my head superintendent and all. They were down there going over, they go down there, go over these different things. So here come Lee, but that was that little superintendent I tell you about what told me you could. So me and the truck drivers down there and Lee coming there. I told him, I said, what thought make Lee mad? And I know it's gonna make him mad. I said, hey Lee, come here. And he come up there. I said, look at me and all these white girls in here. I said, just look at me, all these white girls. I said, boy, I got pigs, and I got white pigs, I got white children, that man turned red too. He turned red, he got mad, he walked on out, and so the head superintendent come up there and said, what's wrong with Lee? So the truck driver told him, and said, Ash told him, said, look at me and him with all these white girls. He said, and Lee got that bad? He said, we can't stand for nobody to be on him like that. So I thought Lee was a better guy than that. So he got rid of Lee. He told Lee he either got to come in there and act right or he wasn't gonna stay. But Lee was so much, he was ran to leave anyway because he just didn't like it. He just didn't like it because, so they told him he had to, so they got rid of him. And so that's the one thing I had, but of course it tickled me and everybody was in my favor anyway. So I had to call my business agent on one superintendent. So I got that straight. At first, before we started, before our union passed for getting double time for all overtime, while then we had another agreement if I was working with another guy overtime and he got double time, we got double time, see, until we got one straight. So we had a little assistant superintendent, he just had got set up there, you know, and so when I started working there, I told him, I said, don't forget the double time now. I'm working with these iron workers. He said, just call you working with the iron workers, there's no sign I'm gonna pay you no double time. I said, well, I'm supposed to get it. I said, it's in the union agreement. He said, well, I'm not gonna put it on your card. I said, well, okay, that'll be fine with me. So that Friday when I got paid off, my double time wasn't on that. So I called the timekeeper. He said, let me get in touch with downtown. He got in touch. And the people downtown said, well, he told them not to pay me the double time. So then I called my union hall, called my business agent. He said, okay, I'll be right out. So he came out, got with the head superintendent, Ivy Dunn, with the superintendent over the whole entire rig. He was, told him about it. Ivy Dunn called this superintendent down in town to the head office and asked him, the union told him, said, now listen, he said, I'll pull every man off of him, so I'll put up a picket of him striking, or nobody be here working. Because the union at that time had an agreement. If one union put a picket, the other member can't cross it. They had the agreement. No union cross, another union picket. So he called that superintendent down there and told him, he said, well, I just felt like I had a power that they didn't have to pay. He said, but you don't have that power. He said, I'm the only man that got a power to say what they can't get. He said, you out there, he said, you got to follow union rule, union scale. And so he said, now the business agent is here, and the business agent said, Mr. Asher got to get his money before the day is out. That was Friday. He got to get him his money back down there out of what they're supposed to pay him. So the timekeeper brought my extra money back out there. So here comes this superintendent, that's a timekeeper brought my extra money back. And the old superintendent passed by me. I told him, I shoved and checked in his face. I said, hey, it is, big boy. I said, ain't over your dead body, but I got it. And he worked around there. We worked around there about 3 weeks before he would speak to me. But he found out he couldn't do nothing by it. Then he finally calmed down.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. So that's about the only problem that I really would have, you know.
I have one other work-related question, and you've talked about radiation and construction. Did you have any idea what everyone's mission was and what they were working on?
On the radiation, yeah, we had quite a bit of radiation.
And what it would be used for? I guess I should go back because you were after the Manhattan Project, so it wasn't necessarily for the bomb, was it, at that time? So the mission was different.
Well, you see, when we was out there, all the reactors was under radiation. Because if you, every spring of the year, they would close the reactors down and they would go through them and remodel them. They had to go about 5 months away, remodeling, fixing this, putting new stuff in this. And all that work with radiation. You works in there for the whole time you remodeling. You did. See, you worked in there. I worked at the radiation. And I worked on the Hanford radiation. And lots of days I worked in that radiation for weeks and weeks at a time.
So were the reactors producing plutonium?
Yeah, well, no, we remodeling, but the building is all wrapped up with radiation. Now, some places like that pipe fitters. Now, if they had a job that they got to go and put in some pipes, said the radiation was too high or was too strong, it had to be cut down. You know, go in there and sterilize it and cut it down to a certain point to where a person could work in there. Well, that was a labor job, and I was in that job practically all the time. Every time I had to go down there and decon some radiation, or clean it up to where some craft can go in there, or easy where we could work in there later.
So you were involved with decontamination?
I was in that deal. And every one of the 105s had that deal. And so, but every year they would close down to remodel, see? And then when you go in the remodel back there, everybody went back in there. I don't care what craft you were in the radiation. You had to put on over your shoes, you had to put on a pair of boots, you had to put on extra pair of clothes, you had to put off all of your clothes, and then you were dressed in the radiation. Sometimes you got a mask on, sometimes you you got all just anything, just because then when you go in there and work, you got a timekeeper in there to check how much time you can stay in there. You got a pencil in your pocket.
That's a
to
dosimeter
pick up the
pencil.
reading. No, it's just it's a pencil that picks up the reading what you're getting. See, you got that in your pocket. Then you got another little deal that they push on you. If you go to get the radiation, it'll sort of beep with a beeping pencil. So you had a RM, RM that do to check you out. He's staying right out there. And if you out there deconning a place to where you guys can work, this RM is with you with a machine. Then
The radiation monitors.
Yeah, radiation monitor. He'll tell you, well, this place here is clean. Now this place here, this guy can work at here in here now for 8 hours, or he can work in here for 4 hours without picking up the radiation. And that's what we were doing. Then some places were so hot, he can't work in there under an hour. Then they got to change people. See. Then when we got to decon, we got to go in. We got to go in, pull off our clothes, and you got 3 step-off pads. You got a guy helping you to undress. Now all these clothes you got on now is all hot and full of all that junk. One guy got to pull all of that off of you. He got to pull them boots off of you, and then you step on this pad. Then you go to the second pad, and you pull the rest of your clothes off. They supposed to be by clean. You pull it off. Then you step on the next pad, and the only thing you got on there is just your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the man come down, he check you all over. You don't put nothing in your mouth. You don't smoke a cigarette until you wash your hands, or something like that. Regardless of how he done check you out, you don't do it till you wash your hands.
So they're very careful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then you go, when you come out there, then you sign out. You got to sign in on a piece of paper. When you go in the radiation zone, then you got to sign out. And then when you sign out, so that's just the way it is. And if you got in there and got all sort of crapped up with the radiation, then they got a monitor to come out there and they got to clean you up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it takes a half a day to get you all clean. Got to scrub you, then wash you down, then they got to put this on, then this thing, wash you down, where it's at, and check you all over. Maybe I got some on my hip time, they cut a real big piece of my hair out of my head and scrape my head quite a bit, and so but if a person followed the radiation, followed the only time a person really got really crapped up is some guy, and I know several people have got it in their skin. If you had up a cut place on yourself, got a cut place, you supposed to come out right now, come out there. Well, some guys, some of the people, feel like they got more education than other people. They get in there for a while, oh, I can do this and I can do that. Mm. That's the time you're gonna get caught up with it. So that's what happened to quite a few people, And so, but I got crapped up several times. They taken 2 and 3 hours to get you clean. But they gonna clean you before you leave away from there. See? And then when you come back the next day, they're still gonna check you again.
They can't risk it spreading.
Huh?
Can't risk it spreading.
Yeah, they because it is electric. Because if you get it inside of it, that's it. It's just stay in there till long as you live. So that's just the way it is.
So when the work day was over and you go home at night or it's a weekend, what kinds of things did you or your friends do away from work? Did you have social things that you did?
Well, away from something, come home?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I tell you, I didn't do too much. I come home and stay home. Stay home with the wife and the children sometimes. Sometimes we get up there and maybe go downtown someplace, and suddenly we go out of town. And by the time we go out of town, me and the wife and children all would go in Oregon someplace, driving around, just about everywhere with me and the wife would be going, the children with us anyway.
Was there
so-
much to do here in Kennewick and Richland and Pasco?
Well, I didn't find too much to do. Because now a lot of them people, I guess, were going in taverns, drinking, going. They probably were having beer, but I wasn't drinking, so I didn't need to go in no tavern. so,
I hear you.
so my place was I go to church, different place like that, and go out of town some weekends, and so that's about the size of it.
Okay, well, I appreciate all the information you've given me today. And after retirement, have you kept in touch with people from the site at all?
Yeah, well, since I retired now, I just really couldn't. I've been working, taking care of myself ever since I was 14 years old, 15 years old. So I just can't. Some people retire. And I can say this, but we got what you call the old J.A. Jones retirement picnic. We go to Prosper every year. They have a big picnic. I guess you heard about it.
I think you told me something about it in
Yeah, I did.
August.
And we got about 3 or 4 women there. You go there, they call the roll, how many is gone, how many J.A. Jones left here. They call the roll, all the J.A. Jones people that died and all what's left. And you know, I go there and I looked just at the people that retired and just sit down. Boy, they coming out there, they can't walk, they got on crutches and they came staggering around and but I found out one thing about it. It's just the same you can take a brand new car and you can set it up in that garage for 2 years and it's no good. That's right, it can't start it. It won't never run good. So that's the way it is when a person just sits down. But I feel better doing something now. I do a little odd job now. Since I retired, I didn't retire and just sit down. I got me a little odd job to do. I'll do a little head trimming. I fool around. I got experience on trimming shrubs and things, and like anybody want them, what shape they want them, I can trim them. So
Keeps
I
you
do.
busy, keeps you young,
Uh-huh.
keeps you young.
Yeah, so, and I got some good people. I'll be frank, I got my doctor. I've been taking care of his place for 23 years. And I got another business guy over there. I've been taking care of his yard and shrub there for 27 years. For a whole while, so I worked on the yard because I used to take care of them when I was in Hanford part-time. But so, I just got to keep her doing something. Now, if you want me to feel bad or get slow, if I can sit around here for a whole week or something like that, I go out of town for a whole week, they ain't got nothing to do. When I get back here, I'm just about stove up. I got to get out there and go to doing something.
Well, I think you have the right idea because it's keeping you fit and keeping
They
you
do.
young.
Well, it's just like this here. If you're used to doing something, and you got to keep active. The reason I said that, I've seen too many people. I worked with a guy, him and I worked together. And I was somewhere in the neighborhood around, way older than he was. He retired since I retired. And I met him one day down there, looked at him. Here he come. Some people's on this side of him, other people on this side of him, holding him up so he can walk. And I'm somewhere over 10 years older than he was. I asked him, I said, what's wrong with you, fella? He said, well, I said, when I retire, I was going to take it easy. He said, so I retired, I went home. I got me a case of beer, and I sit up and I drank beer, and I watched the football game. That case out, I go get me another case of beer, sit up and watch the football game. I said, so now you just watched the football game too long, and now you can't walk. He said, Mr. Ash, that's about the size of it. But if you believe it or not, is you're used to working. You're going to have to keep something to do. It may not be much, but you got to be active. If you go sit down, you ain't going to be there long. That's for sure. If you go sit down, you just going to be.
That's good advice for all of us.
That's it.
It sure is.
Rip Davis one time, he was a guy. He was a head man over the operators. He retired, but like I did. And he went home. He went home, and he said, I'm going to take it easy. He hired a guy to take care of his yard. He hired a guy to take care of his shrubs and everything. I said, Rip, what you doing? He said, oh, I got everything hired out. I said, Rip, you better start doing something. Oh, no. And about a year after then, I seen him. He just come dragging along. He said, Ash, you looking awful good. I said, yeah. He said, you know one thing? I'm going to run that guy off of my yard. I'm going to start doing my yard myself. He went up there and he run all the people off of his yard. He started doing it, and the man looked better. The next time we seen him, he looked it better.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'd like to ask permission if it's okay for us to film some of the photographs of your family, just so we have them on tape. And the editor may, bring some of those into the final tape. So thanks for all that information. The other one is 20. He lives at home, still works for Leonard. But yeah, they're big boys. I wish we could recognize some people in this one, but there's just too many shadows on their faces. Some of those workers with those hats and everything.
Yeah, I know about them hard hats. I know about them. I wore them a lot.
I just can't think of it. Looks like it should be.
You had to wear them hard hats.
Come here, they had a little joint down there on Lewis Street, and boy, that was a jumping little place.
Oh, really?
You know, where a lot of people went, but never was much going into things like that.
I know Virginia Crippen, I heard about the Chicken Shack and Tommy Moore's Polar Palace and some other places, I guess, that
right.
were here.
And Virginia found that she sell chicken on the weekends. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Really good.
And we interviewed her too. And I guess she came up just she didn't work out there, but she heard that people were here and they could use some places to eat. And she left California or Portland or somewhere and came up and opened her chicken place.
And she did.
She did all right, I guess.
Kenny